Homies, today we are taking a look at Marvel Legends Deadpool. Let's run that back. Marvel Legends Blade. Let me not lie to y'all, man. So first, show y'all this box over here. For those of y'all that are inbox collectors, clearly I am not. Look at my man Sneer over here. I get you. Give you the all-around look. But yeah, today, homies, this is all about Blade. And I'll be real, I was reluctant to get it at first because Marvel Legends, bruh, it let me down more than a couple times. I'm not gonna lie to you. And I think that there's a lot of people that seem to be kind of just getting a little bit disenfranchised with them. And when I initially saw this guy, man, the main thing that kept me from getting him was his proportions, if we're being honest. When I was looking at him in the box and everything, I was like, there's just something weird looking about about this dude, man. And I don't regret having them though, man. So you know what? Let me just kind of dive into the particulars of the review, and we'll be talking about all that in due time. So as you guys can see, man, we have Blade over here. We're gonna let him chill for a moment if I can get him to stand up. All right, and the accessories, right? So we got another head sculpt that he comes with. Got a sneering face right here. A couple of hands, man. The trigger finger hand for his semi-automatic pistol that he's rocking. The blade holding hand. Get it, Blade? Let me zoom that in for you over here. Show you that. The pistol right here. See if I can get a little bit closer for you. All right. And then his machete, which I am not a fan of, y'all. How did y'all like his blade in that movie, the Deadpool Wolverine movie? I'm just not, like, I want Blade with his katana, bro. Like, it could just be me, you know, but I don't think it is. I really miss just the old school katana. And then we got his glasses right here, man, looking good. And they actually gave us a couple pairs. And then you have the man himself, man. So the Blade figure. And so this guy, man. So yeah, like I was saying initially, right? I had been I let him go a couple of times. I saw him once in store a few weeks back, and I was like, dude, I should grab him. I've been wanting a Blade figure for the longest, man. Like, I mess with Blade heavily, so it's not a matter of the character. And it's not even really a matter of his interpretation in the movie either, because I like the idea of having like an older kind of grizzled Wesley Snipes, man. One that looks like he's been through the ringer. He's been out here fighting vamps for a long time and stuff. So it wasn't anything about that or like his movie rendition or anything. When I saw him, man, it just made like the proportions were what was killing me. And I think it's like, I think his torso, man, I think it's too small. I think his head is just the tiniest bit too big. And I think it's just like the lack of heroic proportions as well, man. It's not as awful as it is in some figures, but he does kind of have a little bit of like what the homie, shout outs to Anthony Customs, man, but he calls him kind of like the child birthday hips on some of the Marvel Legends figures, and he's super right about that, man. It's they're just a little bit too thick for their own good, you know, and it really messes up like the silhouette and everything, man. And if the shoulders were just a bit broader, I mean, you kind of had a little bit more of that V taper coming in, I think that like, and of course we're basing this off of like a real guy, you know, so like it's a little bit different with some of these figures because of course they're not going to be looking as like comic book wild when it comes to their proportions and stuff as just like your comic book renditions or like video game characters and that sort of stuff. But I think still when you're going with like action figure form and that kind of thing, man, it'd be nice to have them do a little bit of like I don't know, just that service for I don't know, the artistic integrity, maybe I want to say, right? But getting into it though, like that's kind of what kept me from it. But eventually I was like, you know what, man, I don't know, let me get it in hand, mess with it, see what I really think. and I think I can still work with this, man. I'm still excited for to show you guys like the photo shoot, to get around with just even playing with them a bit more. I've had some time to kind of mess with him, and I think that he has some cool things going on, but I also don't think he's like if you are somebody that's familiar with Marvel's Legends, which I'm sure a lot of you out there already are, then he's not going to surprise you. You know, like I don't think that he's a bad release whatsoever, but I think that he's pretty feels pretty standard, at least outside of like maybe a couple things, you know, because I actually don't think the face sculpt is the worst, man. I actually think that they did a good job of like catching Wesley Snipes' likeness and everything, man. A lot of I don't know why I said it weird, but the likeness of Wesley Snipes, I don't think that part looks bad at all, man. And this is Wesley Snipes is absolutely my Blade. No offense to anybody out there who's a fan of like the bald Blade or just some of the other renditions, but he is definitely my Blade over here. And then especially with like this the sneering face, and like that would have, this one I like a lot, and this would probably be the one I have him on primarily with. It's weird to me though, because like, how are you gonna have a Blade and not like a open mouth yelling like fang bearing face? Like that's weird to me. And like, I know he didn't get like the craziest cameo in the movie or anything like that, but you got a Blade figure and you don't see man homie's fangs. Like what are we talking about? That just feels like such a loss to me, man. Such a missed opportunity. But hey, we're balling, man. We're still moving forward. Again, these gonna sound like maybe nitpicks to a lot of people, but I think they matter, man. And it's because I care, you know. Like I think that this isn't a terrible release whatsoever, man. I think that there's a lot of good about it too. And maybe I'll talk about that. You know, I thought one thing that I do like is the different textures throughout the armor. I think that his armor is like nicely detailed, like surprisingly so. You know, I like the rubber here on like the bulletproof vest, and well, I'm sure it's strike proof with melee and everything, but we'll just call it as armor. Over here you have kind of like this rubber texture, and then over here on like parts of the arms and stuff, if I can kind of show you guys a little bit, you might be able to see it, but there's different textures on like the biceps. Like they're more like bumpy and rough of a texture, and then down here on the pants is different consistency than like up here. So like there's some definite really cool details on here, you know, that I think that you can tell like that some care went into this guy. And I even like things like some of the details on like the glove and everything over here. While it's not anything like the craziest amount of detail ever, but for like when you're talking like a $25-$30 figure, I think that they did a damn good job, if I'm being honest, you know, with some of these details and some of the way like the armor is sculpted and everything as well. Like we already talked about some of my hangups on like the proportion side, but it's not like the more that I have them in hand and play around with them and like grab photos and other stuff, the more that I'm coming around to them, especially as you get them posed up and everything. I don't think that I think the camera can still be very kind to this figure, which is kind of cheating, I know, right? Because you get anything in a good pose, and you can make you can make anything look good. But I think that maybe I was a bit too harsh with the judgment at first. But let me just show you guys what we're working with in the way of articulation over here. So when we're talking about head movement, getting down about that much, getting about this high. But you guys can see you're kind of fighting with it a little bit over here. Show you just a little bit of like some of the rotation that we're getting in. I like it because you can kind of get some nuanced movement over here. Like, I think that that's pretty good. I like the range and freedom that he allows you to kind of move that head around a little bit. And over here, look at that, man. When you're talking about your T-posing, you're getting well above horizontal, which is always nice to see. Butterfly wise though, like not really. You know, he's getting like directly in front of him over here, but not a whole lot to speak of. You know, you kind of have that false Marvel Legends butterfly, which is like not really at all, as you guys can see here. It's just not happening. And I think also a part of that too is the way that this armor works. It can kind of affect some of that movement. So he's got like good shoulder freedom and movement in some ways, and then others it's like kind of compromised. So It just depends on what you're trying to do. But I think, like, of course, right, you like swivel the bicep a little bit and play around with it, and you'll be able to get those arms like up front and do some of the things that you need to with it. So it won't be the hugest problem in the world to take care of that. But continuing on, show you guys a little bit of the bicep curl here, getting about, which is pretty good. I mean, look at that. There's a so look at this unsightly elbow, man. No, I would definitely say that biceps, human bicep, doesn't exactly work like that. You know, it's we got a little bit of artistic freedom taking in the mold and scope on that one, but for you articulation heads, you'll be happy to see. Weirdly, this one isn't, my other side isn't breaking in that same way though. It's not doing that. It's that's really interesting that I'm not getting like that same range of motion on the other side. That is very odd. It's all right though. Well, anyway, man, so you got your full rotation over here, arm on both sides. Now, ab crunch, I was a bit disappointed in. I'll be honest. He didn't have much of one, and I do think that like this hard sculpt in the armor is just like, it's not allowing for the range of motion. And I think it probably has like a shallow ball joint in there as well, which is like, man, like the torso, it could have probably just been a bit longer, and I think that would have made him look better sculpt and proportion wise, as well as helped with this ab crunch. Like this is like non-existent, man. There's nothing there, which is so crazy. Like his back bend is better than his ab crunch is, but so like that's a bit disappointing. I'll be completely honest. Like for things like kicking poses and other stuff like that, you definitely want yourself a nice little ab crunch or some of like the hero poses, and it kind of stinks that we're not getting the greatest one out of this blade figure. But show you a little bit over here. We do have rotation at the waist, which has been missing in some import figures lately, which I think is really weird. We got some figures coming in at a much higher price point that aren't able to do that right now, which I don't understand. So over here, as far as split, we're getting about right here, which is absolutely serviceable. As you guys can see though, over here, as far as his like his arsenal, man, on his ammo and like his thigh holster and everything like that, it is attached over here to the hip, so it does like, it's kind of be careful. It hasn't completely like hampered movement or anything like that for me so far, but I definitely think if you get like a little too cheeky with some of the movements, you could risk snapping that thing off. So just being wary to be careful about that over there. Take a look over here. We got our butt kick, which is not a problem. There we go. And then, so maybe my right arm on this figure is a little seized up. I'll have to kind of keep taking a look at that, but take a look over here. Show you guys does this have a toe hinge? I don't think it does, weirdly enough. No toe hinge on this guy. I didn't notice that before. And got a little bit of movement here, but like ankle rocker wise and stuff, not much of one, to be completely honest. I mean, that's not like the biggest deal breaker in the world. I'm just like really used to having them right now, so like when I don't, it's a little bit weird. But like, to be completely honest, man, yeah, like this guy is he's a cool release. I think that if you're a fan of Blade and you're looking to have him on the shelf, you're not going to be disappointed whatsoever. I know I'm happy. I might look into getting him a custom trench coat and a katana just to bring my vision of Blade to life, because that's what I think of when I see this character. Articulation wise, as you guys will see in the photo shoot we have coming up here, he can still do a lot of great things and stuff, man. You can make him look really good, but I think that just some of them, just a bit more attention to the sculpt with a couple of things, you know, like, I mean, you guys tell me, am I just wrong on the way that torso looks, you know, like, does it look off to me? But I'm just nitpicking over here? Do you guys kind of feel a bit weird? Something's a bit weird on the proportion side as well. Because like I know Wesley Snipes IRL, he's a little dude, right? He's a little short king. But I still feel like it doesn't mean he never like struck me as an oddly proportioned fellow kind of thing though. So I'll let y'all, that could be what I'll leave y'all with, man. Is just let me know if I'm tripping or am I just am I being too picky. But yeah, we're gonna get ready to go into just the photo gallery over here, man, to show you guys some of the shots with this guy. But I don't hate him. I feel like he's a pretty standard Marvel Legends release. Couple cool things in the way of the art, some of the sculpted detail, and then other ways just a bit disappointing. But I can't say that I'm upset to have him on the shelf, man. So give me you guys' thoughts here. Wrap it up with me in the comments. I'll catch you guys out soon.